I'm Matt Dillahunty, and you're watching Atheist Edge.
God answers my prayers.
Okay. Want to start? Okay.
Floor is yours.
The idea that God answers your prayers, okay, I can't deny. If you say He answers your prayers, wonderful. Why don't we do a sample test? I'll take a word out of the dictionary of 1,000,000 words, put it in my pocket, and you talk to God and have Him give the answer what the word is. Why don't we do that and see if, I mean, you're hearing voice of it's God, it should know what word I picked out of the dictionary is in my pocket.
The failure of prayer has caused the apologists to redefine what prayer is. We all know that prayer increases during times of crisis and struggle, and prayer went through the roof and after 9/11 and things like that. But a hardcore Christian is going to tell you prayer is more about evolving your relationship with God. It's not about getting something that you want. And so, again, this is a modern day apologetic in response to the fact that empirically there's no evidence to be shown that God actually answers prayer.
And what does the Christian say about a Muslim getting their prayers answered, or a Hindu, or a Buddhist if they actually pray? I don't know if they do or not. But what does he say about that when he says that God is the only God, but they then deny that anyone else's God exists?
I heard a very interesting, accidentally intelligent remark by an evangelical just this morning online that said that he does not want prayer in school because he's fairly confident it'll be a watered down Christian prayer and not a real prayer.
How do you tell the difference?
Yeah.
Whatever his denomination is decided what a real prayer is, and he knows that won't be what makes it into the schools because his denomination is so small, so he'd rather there be no prayer at all. So clearly the enemy of your enemy is your friend.
And why can't a prayer actually do something like really, really good? Why can't a prayer say, here's a man who's lost a hand, bring the hand back? Why can't it bring back, why can't it cure the cancer of a child? It didn't seem like the prayer is really answered. I just had a friend, they were praying for their other friend that was in the hospital dying. What was the prayer? For him to get better, for him to not suffer, and then he dies, and then they pray to God to keep his soul and welcome him to heaven. What is?
Every prayer is answered. It's yes, no, or wait. So no matter what you ask, one of those three things will happen. Either it'll be answered, rarely, or it won't be answered, and they can either say, well, it must not be, or I'm just waiting for it.
Every answered prayer, allegedly answered prayer that involves a disease or malady is something internal, something that's not noticeable on the outside.
Yeah.
Like Tilden was saying, like a regeneration of a limb or something outward, like a skin disease, or something that we can see.
Right.
Yeah.
When cancer goes into remission, that's internal, but something that, because an arm growing back, something that couldn't happen naturally or through medicine, right?
Can we revisit what he said about all prayers are answered, either yes, no, or wait? Fascinating concept, but when you think of the way that we interact as human beings, an answer to a question, you at least know what it is. So I can't say that if one of those three things occurs that you got your answer because you were never told. If the answer is wait, how do you know the answer is wait? You're there, you just wait, and it either does happen or it doesn't happen. But if it's another human being, they'll tell you you're going to have to wait, and maybe they'll tell you how long you're going to have to wait, and you know that an answer's coming. But if God doesn't tell you yes, no, or maybe, how do you know your prayer's been answered?
It's like I prayed for a new job, and you get a new job. How do you know it wasn't just that they gave you a new job? How do you know it was God that gave you the new job?
Well, because God gives you everything.
Well, I mean,
God
I suppose you
controls
could go in and say, hey, by the way, you gave me this job. Did God answer my prayer?
Oh yeah, I got a phone call from God. God called me and said I should hire you.
Mm-hmm.
That never happens.
Or was it my own personal achievements and
usually it's a feeling.
Sometimes it's audible.
Yeah.
I have a pastor friend who's twice it's happened to him audibly.
Yeah. Well,
an answer.
I have the job I have now because my current supervisor said he was overcome with this feeling from God that I was the person he should hire which was ironic as hell if he knew anything about what I believed.
Wow.
Wow.
I
you
guess God
didn't
loves
tell him?
atheists a little more than we think, then, apparently.
You didn't tell him?
Never.
No. You're totally
I
still,
am
yeah.
totally in the closet. That's the reason I don't use my real name on Facebook.
But
Yep.
getting back to people in the hospital and everything, we had a friend that was over in London, and they're atheists. He was near death. It was the skills of the doctors and nurses around him that kept him alive. And his son being there holding his hand and stuff like that.
Well,
Now, of course,
it
Christians
was the prayers that kept him alive.
Well,
Not
it was
all the medicine that he got.
But it was a Muslim hospital, so the Muslim prayer kept him alive.
Well, and Christians will say that it was the hand of God
I
that
don't
guided
know
those
whether or not.
surgeons and guided those nurses. So what happened before we had surgeons and nurses? All those prayers were just denied.
And think about all the other people before Jesus came and all that stuff. The people before that never knew Jesus.
And, well, they prayed to Zeus, and things happened. Thank you, Zeus,
Yeah.
or whatever one it was.
Even beyond that.
Things still happen incidentally,
Hundreds,
even if you prayed to the wrong God.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of years before. Of course, I know the world is only 6,000 years old. I understand that, but hundreds of thousands of years before anybody heard of Jesus or anything, what happened to those people that didn't know a God, didn't know the God?
Well, that's what hell's for.
Okay.
The common apologetic to that is they're off the hook. They get a free pass. There's the old joke where the missionaries go up above the Arctic Circle and they find the Inuit tribe that's never been exposed to Christianity, and they expose them to Christianity. And the old Inuit guy, ice fishing, he said, "Hey, let me ask you something. If you had not come here and told me about this Jesus Christ the Savior, what would happen to me?" He said, "Well, you'd be off the hook." Then why the fuck did you come and tell me anything?
Yeah. Because the Bible says they have to.
Tag, you're it.
We need to spread the word to everybody, because everyone needs to have that opportunity to go to hell.
Last spring we had that guy off the coast of India that went in to an indigenous tribe that had been left alone for centuries.
Sentinel Island.
And on this island to bring them Christianity, and he never made it off the boat. They killed him.
Yep.
And there's Christian groups in there that are wanting these people brought out on trial, which is insane.
We need to have more Christians. I'll rent the boat for all the Christians that be dumped on that island. One way to get rid of them.
The tragedy is
this is what you need to do. Well, here's an island for you.
The views expressed by Andy Koppel do not represent those of everybody here. No.
All the tribe has to say is, our God told us that you were coming.
Well, if the tribe survived, the problem is he brought all kinds of diseases they didn't have any immunities to. We have no idea what their burial practices are, so his body may have sat out there for weeks and months with diseases. We don't know what's going on with that tribe now because of this, and there's a reason that it's illegal to go there.
Next one. Oh, that was the Old Testament. Those 613 old laws don't apply to us anymore.
Yeah, it's funny how there's never a definitive line for what still applies and what doesn't. Supposedly the Ten Commandments are still golden, but the word stoning homosexuals is not, even though hating homosexuals is okay. They're one line apart in the Bible. One's bad, one's good, and we can. And there's no way God told us the difference. There's something in Romans about changing things that they always quote, and I've never really looked up.
But didn't Jesus say, "I didn't come to do away with the old things, but to fulfill them"? I mean,
Every dot and tittle.
Wasn't that part of what he has? I mean, so obviously you just can't throw out the Old Testament, because Jesus in the red letters said, "Hey, we're supposed to have it."
Yeah.
Well, they never applied to me to begin with, so thank you.
And as has been said many times before, Jesus said nothing about slavery. So I suppose if you want to have a slave, you can have a slave, and it's okay.
No, Jesus did say stuff about slavery. He doubled down on it.
Okay. Well, I'm saying
He doubled down and said, "Okay, here's some more reasons of how."
Paul did in Philemon.
So nobody should have any trouble
but
with
Jesus
having a
also even your cruel ones. Wasn't that part what he said? Obey your masters, even the cruel ones. I think that was Jesus.
One of the best things. This is sarcasm. One of the best things is Jesus said nothing about women being equal or anything. So I'm online a lot on Facebook and stuff like that, and women are on there saying exactly what their religion talks about and stuff like that, and I just go in there and hey, your property, I really can't talk to you. You really, you really shouldn't be doing this. You need to.
Did your husband say it's okay for you to be on here?
You need to go to your own owner and admit what you've done, and ask him to videotape the stoning for the other women that
The thing about
go their place.
The other thing about the Old Testament laws is I don't believe they were even followed during the Old Testament. I cannot believe anyone was ever brought to the front of the town and stoned to death because they gathered sticks on a Sunday. I don't buy it.
Back then it was a Saturday, though, right?
Whichever day it was,
Oh,
but
yeah,
I just don't think that most people don't have that in them to be a part of something that ridiculous. This was somebody's father, somebody's relative.
How can you even eat? You cook food, you work, God got to kill you.
Yeah.
Oh, you got dressed, that's what you're doing. I mean, you just have to lay around for 24 hours and not do nothing.
I think this was crazy shit people wrote down, but no one ever really enforced a lot of this stuff.
Look at fanatical societies today. I mean, I imagine that Judaism back then would be a lot like hardcore Islam is now.
Well, you could compare it to the witch trials where we want this person, so we're going to find some reason to go after
that's
him.
what they did.
Yeah,
They
I'm
used
sure
it as,
yeah.
I don't like him, oh, he gathered sticks. We'll get him on that one.
I
Yeah.
saw this guy wearing mixed fabrics. Burn him!
Yeah.
I'm reading John Loftus's book right now called When I Became an Atheist, and in it says that many of the leaders of the like the King Solomon and stuff, things like that, they would reject their Judeo religion. They go back to the superstitious gods of the surrounding area over and over and over again. So yeah, I can't imagine anybody going by this Jewish law to stone people and stuff like that. They were making animal sacrifices, probably human sacrifices.
You find that through all of human
over and
history,
over
that when people grow up in one religion and adopt another, they hang on to the parts of the old religion
right. The pagan,
that they
just like
like.
we do.
But even when Christianity's converted to something else, they bring parts of Christianity with them,
Yeah.
which is why in modern religions you see elements of Christianity. There's a reason that the Scientology symbol looks an awful lot like the Jesus cross.
Or
That was not done by accident.
or why the Mormons have the angel Gabriel and Jesus himself in their own religion.
I think
Well, no, they consider
Hubbard
themselves Christian.
I know that.
Hubbard even said there's a cross on there to lend credibility to the religious aspect of it for
Yes.
tax reasons.
Well, Hubbard was trying to win a bet, wasn't he?
Well, that originally, yes.
He
Right,
won
I
it
mean,
big time.
What is Easter based on? What is Christmas based on? Winter solstice. Easter is based
Spring
on the
equinox.
Equinox, right?
Well,
And
Jesus
these were
was
pagan.
crucified on Easter. That's why we need bunnies.
Go
The
ahead.
topic I wanted to bring up at some point, and I don't know how to work it in, is how in not that long ago, evangelicals were anti-alcohol like crazy. They were so tied to the temperance movement, and that is completely gone now. That we have the Bible and Beer Consortium where evangelicals celebrate drinking. How did we get there?
Well, Christians have been tied to every hysteria in the last 100 years. And
Yeah.
And then they calm down.
They reinterpret the Bible every generation.
They-
Remember when rock music was Satan, and now Christian rock is $1 billion a year industry?
Oh yeah, when
Next
Elvis
on the
Presley
list-
was the Antichrist.
Next on the list should be LBGT.
Yeah.
They should
Oh, yes.
start chilling the fuck out on that now.
And they will, and
They
in
will.
20 years they're going to be claiming credit
Yep.
for freeing them.
Oh yeah.
They're claiming credit for ending slavery now.
And side note, Christians do like to tie people to things too.
You mean like trees when they burn them?
I mean, just saying.
Okay.
As
Number,
long as
I think
it's
this is
for
3.
salvation
Okay.
and-
Yeah. I think this is number 3 by popular request by Andy.
Should say something.
The opposite of
Where
popular
is it?
request.
Why not believe in God? Isn't believing the safer bet?
Oh, yeah. What if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? It's kind of like, I've always thought that should be an automatic, you lost. You just lose. I mean, straight away, if you don't understand how stupid that statement is, you just need to lose.
Don't
Because,
tell us how you really feel.
yeah, yeah, and that's how I feel. The idea of, what if you're wrong, it's like, you're making it sound like there's only you can believe or not believe. Well, how about the other religion? If you pick the wrong one, you lose.
Let's do the math on this.
And like that, but you put somebody like on an island and say, okay, you come there and somebody comes up and says, hey, this volcano's a god, and if you don't believe in them, you burn in hell forever. No matter what stupid god comes around, you got to believe in any of them, because what if you're wrong? It's an automatic fail on every level you could state it.
So do the math. there's 3,000 recognized deities right now on the planet. You got to pick the right one.
Yeah.
So let's say we pick the Judeo-Christian. So now you got to pick between Judaism, Christianity, Islam.
Yeah.
You pick Christianity, then you got to pick
Catholic,
between
Protestant.
Catholic, Protestant. You
You pick
pick Protestant. Now you got tens of thousands of choices to make,
Also got
and you got to see.
Orthodox.
So even if there is a God, and you can't jump through the loophole of believing in all of them. Almost every religion has the one caveat of you can't believe in any God but their God.
Yeah.
So
And their version of their
Yeah.
God.
that's right.
I say, you believe in a false God, you're going to burn in hell.
This has a lot to do with my conversion to atheism. When I was younger, I struggled with this a lot. When I was Catholic and the Baptist minister down the street was telling me how all my relatives are burning in hell, I don't want to burn in
Yeah,
hell.
but if the idea of burning in hell, I have a question. What could the devil do? What possible thing could the devil do that's worse than creating a hell where people could go forever and ever and ever? Is there anything worse than hell that the devil could create? And I'm supposed to worship an all-powerful being that created something so horrendous. I mean, that automatically should be, I don't know who you are, but I'm not going to worship someone that creates something that evil.
Yeah, interesting enough, the Bible doesn't tie the devil to hell at all. In fact, the hell was created for the devil. So the whole idea that the devil runs hell comes from Dante's Inferno. It doesn't come from the Bible.
I could think of something worse. Pauly Shore movies on a loop. And by the Eagles.
Whoa, wait. Anything by the Eagles?
Yeah.
Edit that out.
No. Yeah, I like the Eagles. I'm sorry.
No, I'm on tilted side on this one.
Don Henley.
Both. Okay. Number 4, I think.
Okay.
I'll edit it out if it's not. Who wanted to do this one? Randall? Oh,
I haven't given you anything.
Okay.
Yeah, we did art mine.
And let me see if I can find it again. Oh, evolution is only a theory.
Yeah, it's just a theory, and which proves that you don't understand science, because theory is like the best that you could ever hope to accomplish in science is have a theory named after what you do. Einstein's theory of relativity. That it's the best thing that you can do. There's no such thing in science as this is the fact. There's no fact, because everything in science has to be something that you can argue and debate and improve on. So it's always going to be a theory, and all you can do is improve on it.
To put it into perspective, evolution is a theory, whereas Christianity or any religion really is a hypothesis or maybe even a proposition. That's
Interesting
about
enough,
the best you can do.
the reason the word theory has become so popular, or misunderstood rather, is because Arthur Conan Doyle used it in writing about Sherlock Holmes. And Sherlock Holmes always had a theory, and his theories sometimes proved to be false.
But that's in a different context.
Very different
I have a theory
context.
where I dropped my car keys this morning.
But that's why most people
Yeah.
don't understand.
That's a colloquial
Yeah,
definition.
there's two theories. There's
Yeah.
the theory that we use as like a hypothesis, or this is what I think happened, and then there's theory. A scientific theory is we should just change scientific theory to another word so it never gets confused. Because in science,
law or
I think science had it first.
laws are hard too because
yeah, well, you don't have a
Yeah,
law,
religious
but
law.
you could come up with a whole new word that isn't theory, that basically lets people understand that in science, this is the
Apex.
framework of, the evolution framework. Just bring another word in so it's not theory, because as long as there's Christians, there's going to be some idiot, it's just a theory, not knowing the difference between the two definitions.
The universe is finely tuned for life. Strong evidence for a designer comes from the finely tuning of the universe.
the universe is not fine-tuned for life. If we go outside of our atmosphere, we're dead.
Yeah.
Even the world is not fine-tuned for our survival. We have to eat, we have to drink, we have to
And
stay
99.9% of
in
species have gone extinct.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we certainly have not been fine-tuned to keep species around, and the odds are our species will eventually go extinct
Yes. But
if we don't manage to kill off all the rest in the process.
We've definitely found the fastest way to kill many of us with a certain bomb, which
Well, it's not just that, but the finely tuned for life. You're thinking, well, let's take the whole universe, and what percentage of the whole universe can we live in?
Right.
And somebody did the math and said if you took like a basketball gym, and in that basketball gym you had one proton in that basketball gym, that's the only amount of space in the entire universe we can actually live in.
Right.
The vast majority it would kill us instantly.
Right.
And it's like finely tuned. That's like saying, the problem is they look at that we're here and they say, God, we're alive. What are the odds of being here? And it's kind of the same way of taking a deck of cards, shuffle them up, and laying them all out. And yeah, if they're all order, it'd be one thing. But let's say they're all random looking. The odds of that random is exactly the same as if it was A, B, or Ace 2, 3, 4, 5 of spades. They're all lined up in order. The odds of that exact pattern are astronomical. But we don't look at that and say, oh, what were the odds that it would come out this way?
Right.
So they look at Earth and say, how amazing is this? Well, if it wasn't like this, we wouldn't be here. I mean, we're very lucky that we got here.
That's the weak anthropic principle, what you just explained. Yeah, and that's really my only counter to this argument. The fact that we're here, but we only have a sample size of one. So is it repeated somewhere else in the universe? And if we can find that, that would give us more samples.
Well, it's like, well, you're here. What are the odds of you being here with how many sperm cells your dad had and how many ovumes your mom had? You multiply them together, it's like a trillion to the trillionth. And it's like, well, yeah, I'm lucky for me, but if it was one different sperm cell, there'd be a different person here. But he'd think it was just as normal as I do.
And my siblings will tell you I am certainly not the object of fine-tuning.
Yeah. As I say, out of all those trillions and trillions, I'm sure there was at least one that was better than me.
Yeah.
Another analogy is think about all these safety features that you have on cars now. You got backup cameras, you got airbags, you got leaving the lanes and all this stuff. Now the Earth is a Model T that has 3 flat tires and it's on 360 right now, trying to make it to Arlington. Good luck.
Right.
I don't guess I get your point. I don't understand your point.
We're not treating the Earth very well. So
Yeah, it's not going to.
Yeah, I said we only have this
it's
one
up against
planet,
the odds.
and everyone's thinking I need to find another planet to live on, rather than, this is the only one we have that actually
How about a
works.
house
Why don't we
person?
take care of this one? It'd be really nice if we could make this one work a lot better.
It's kind of sad when you think the fine-tuning, narrows it down to such a small percentage. Well, why are we screwing with that? Why in the world, if it's such a 1 in a gazillion chance that we're going to be here, why are we assuming that it's always going to be here and it'll never change?
Well, it has changed, but I think the Christians say the odds of us being here are so high that it had to be God that did it. And I'm thinking, well, why don't you show me how many other times God did something, and so we have at least,
Yeah.
I mean, you're just making something up. I mean, who's to say the leprechauns didn't make it? I mean, I have no information that says the leprechauns didn't make the universe, or it's the same that you have on leprechauns as you do with Christ. All you have is an old book that was written after the fact by unknown authors, and everyone says, oh, this is all perfect. This is exactly right.
And what would be the sentient life form right now had it occurred independently in a different manner, had the meteor 65 million years ago off the Yucatan Peninsula not hit?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'd all be dinosaurs or something.
We'd all be winged creatures wondering why the universe turned out the way it did.
Actually, we would be more evolved dinosaurs. We'd have 65 more million years of evolving.
Yeah.
And so instead of being a triceratops, maybe we have 5 horns instead of just 3. But we probably would have been some type of dinosaur, though, as being the upper. Well, no, I don't think we're descended from dinosaurs. So basically, we're the little.
We have a
rodents.
common ancestor way down the line.
Yeah, but if the dinosaurs hadn't been wiped out, we'd be some little shrew mouse thing hiding in the brush somewhere. And not
But the
wanting to
sentient
eat.
life form, look at leading up to Homo sapiens, we got really squishier. We got more sedentary. We've lost all our physical defenses because our large brain and our tool making skills made up for that. We used to have, earlier, before we were Homo sapiens, we used to have claws and teeth, and so take a dinosaur, all the razor blade teeth, all the scales, all the spikes on the end of the tail, those would have been the horns you said. Instead of 5 horns, it'd be no horns probably. We would have gotten squishier because the big brains would have compensated for that.
Yeah, you want a proof of
But you're saying that something sentient would have eventually evolved. Maybe no sentient ever would have evolved. It could have been, it could have just been, monkeys or apes were the highest that you ever get to. The idea that somehow that chimps and monkeys had to become human beings. If the environment was different, maybe it would have stayed, lemurs or whatever, some other thing.
Or what if a different strain of human had lived and there was two of us? If a different Homo sapien...
Not called Neanderthals. We could have another set of humans
Neanderthals
around.
had survived.
I mean, if the Neanderthals survived, we have another whole species of humans that we say, and rather than being like black and Hispanic and Asian, it'd be like, well, there's us humans, and then the Neanderthals will have an enemy. That's why we probably killed them all off, because they were so different than us. Probably.
And I hear this all the time. God is perfect. God is all powerful, all knowing and everything. Why didn't He make a world like that then?
He needed
not
to
even
make
close to
it.
perfect.
We sinned, and
Why do we have to
let
eat?
sin loose, and so
Why do we have to
The garden
drink?
was supposed
Why
to
do
be
we
perfect.
have to
He-
Why do we have to do all this
He
stuff?
made it all perfect, and we ate the apple, and after that, rather than just punish Adam and Eve, who actually made a mistake, I'm going to punish all your kids forever, which, if I'm going to be godlike, to be godlike is to be better, so my morality should be, if somebody does something wrong, I'm going to punish them and their children and grandchildren forever for what they did. That should be our morality, because if God acts that way, and He's always good and perfect, why shouldn't I act that way?
All right, guys. For the end, let's just go through quick plugs again.
Name's Andy Koppel, been a lifelong atheist, a little upset from sometimes theists. They want to start pushing things, especially in Texas, bring in more religion in classrooms and into the courtrooms and making us a more religious country. I would rather have religion, if you want it, keep it in the churches and the synagogues and the mosques, but, stay away from the kids, stay away from the courts.
I'm the president of the Freedom from Religion Foundation Dallas chapter, and along those very similar lines, Texas is an area where people are very emboldened, when I say people I mean Christians, to violate the law. And we are in a constant struggle to keep religion out of our schools and out of our government buildings. And we are going to do everything we can to make sure that we have as secular of a government as possible.
Kevin Peacock, board member of Metroplex Atheist, and all I can say is ditto.
All those links to those chapters and organizations will be in the description section as well. Thanks, guys.